vegetarians. It's what I had in the fridge. Also, brought to you by Black Indignation. Plenty of that going around. And now here's a song. Of course, I remembered to do that part too. Basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court. That's enough. And now here they are, your invenerable host, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. Well, hey, everybody. What's going on? I know I'm late. It's black time. It's CP time. It's fine. Indeed, and that air horn is how we know we are really for real. Here's these. Thank God that we are. That means that we were not caught by a vigilante in the streets last night. So congratulations to everybody who gets to be here today. Hey, tomorrow I'm going to be here with Ibutoke. Ibutoke is a priest of Ochun who has been practicing for 17 years. And we are going to be talking about Black spirituality and the practices of African divination, of African practices, and what it means when non-Africans and folks who may be brown, maybe even, what do we call them now? BIPOC, and are not Black, and in the practices and how that may be impacting those of us who are Black in the practices, given that it seems to be hunting season yet again. And then on Tuesday, September the 1st, we're going to be here with DJ Carmen Spindiego. Carmen is an advocate, is an organizer, is also part of Dancing Heart Consulting. And we will be here talking about why you should go and fill out your goddamn census right now, and why you better keep Kamala's name out your mouth unless you got something good to say, because we just don't got time for that and are not even a little bit interested. Hey, how y'all doing today? It is a day. Do you have a warm bevy, please, or a cold one if you're in the place for that, whatever it takes. I am on my fourth cup of coffee because my circadian rhythm is set to molasses right now, and trying to figure out how to get through it. While we are here today, very quickly, and maybe not so quickly, happy birthday to Toyin Salau, who would have been all of 20 years old today. She was martyred by the murderous asshole Aaron Glee Jr. So fuck him. Don't forget that name either. But happy birthday and rise in power, Toyin, and rise in power to all of our martyrs. One correction from yesterday. Yesterday, I may have suggested that the policemen's them would never, ever, ever catch the white boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, who had escaped on foot and just sort of moseyed on down the street after murdering some peoples. And so after that, what ended up happening is that the young man actually went home and he got a little rest in his bed and then was arrested. So I stand corrected. I was wrong. He was in fact arrested after he got to go home and set his head on his pillow. That's how that went. Other stuff happened yesterday, too, that I didn't get to talk about yesterday. But I will talk about some of that with the person who is coming up today. So you know that sometimes I am under the philosopher's tree not alone, which means that it is not just me ramblings. And today is one of those days. Today, I get to be here with a special guest who is a pretend internet friend of mine. We have.
Not pretend.
Not pretend. It's not pretend. It's my real friend from the internet. We have known each other off and on for about 5 years, and we'll talk about how all that came to be. This person is multi-talented. She is a co-founder, co-host of Tea with Queen and Che podcast, and somebody who has brought to light many of the most important, help to bring to light many of the most important discussions happening around black womanist race nerd business. And we're going to talk about some of all that. And so please, if you would, welcome beneath the philosopher's tree, my friend. Oh, that's applause already. Hold on. Just hold on. Hold on. Shit. Jesus. Y'all excited. Janicia Francis, J. Hey!
Hi. Hi, Carlos. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, family?
I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying a quarantine summer.
Yeah.
hmm
Enjoying? What is enjoying a quarantine summer? What all does that?
I feel like we're at the stage of like adapting, right? So this is not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's really for me been about adapting to the fact that like I'm not really waiting for things to reopen to start
Mm,
living my life again. I have to find ways to live my life safely in a quarantine world. So yeah, so just being outside and trying to stay away from people while I do it, not going to, large gatherings, but finding spaces outside where I can be semi-distant from
mm-hmm.
people and wear my mask and being with my COVID cohorts, other people who have been taking this seriously. So there's a risk, but like a calculated risk. Like we all know where we've been and who we've been spending time with and
Yeah.
things like that. So it's been helpful to my mental health to like get outside a little bit.
Good. Good. Yeah, I need to get outside. I need to do that. That's not a 6 months in. 6 months
Have you been
in.
going for your walks? I know you go on walks and stuff. Have you been doing your walks outside?
I go for my stupid little walks. I go for my stupid little walks, my mandated walks. I've been trying to run as well.
hmm
Have not been doing with any success for
hmm
this week. This week has been a bit heavy, so it's
hmm
been hard to get my
Yeah.
situation together to get up out the house. But
hmm
yeah, no, I've been doing a little bit. I've been doing a little bit. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's all right. It's all right. So
hmm
you recently had a bit of a one of the things that you do is you appear on Grapevine on YouTube, and I loves it. It is good to see you there.
Thank
It is
you.
good to see you there. It is good to see Queen there. It is good to see Naima there. The folks. It's wonderful, and I appreciate your presence. I don't want to force you to relive any traumas, and just want to assure you that this is not a debate. We just chilling. We just chilling.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate your services there. It's good to hear a voice of reason when folks start talking a little bit lackadaisical.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting
Yeah.
experience. So, I am also glad that I'm there, even though there are moments when it is taxing. I think that in the work that we do and in the work that I know that you do
Mm-hmm.
or have done, I think sometimes we get caught up in our own bubble of people who know all the language that we speak, of people who know all the shit that we do, of people who um, are in whatever the movement is, right? And I think sometimes we get disconnected from people who don't speak that language, who don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so I think that Grapevine has been a really good way of different kinds of black folks coming together and speaking whatever their separate language is
Mm-hmm.
to one another. And I think that from that, of course, comes conflict and debate, but I think it has been helpful for us to. Your face. right. That, yeah. I think on some level, it's been helpful for us to kind of be speaking to each other, be speaking these languages to each other instead of always just in our one box.
Right.
But yeah, that comes with challenges, of course. But I think that it's been a good combination of like positivity and then wow, trauma. Oh wow, trauma. Yeah. So.
How did y'all get hooked up with that broadcast? How did you end up being on Grapevine?
We're hanging out at a, for lack of a better word, we were at a networking event that
Uh-huh.
a podcast was hosting, and we kind of hate networking. So we were there because we thought it was good and we wanted to be supportive. But we were sitting in our little corner with people we already knew, not networking. And I got up to get a drink at the bar, and Donovan was there talking to somebody. And so Donovan is one of the producers of Grapevine.
Okay.
And we ended up having, because Queen and I are, this is the kind of people that we are, these are the conversations that we have casually all the time. We ended up having a conversation, I think, about toxic masculinity and all that stuff. We just struck up a conversation with Donovan and another friend at the bar, and we connected from there. And so I think that when they were having subjects that he thought would be of interest to us or we would be a good voice to have, he pulled on us just from that casual meeting that we had. So I guess networking is good, even though it gives me stomach ache. So, but it was nice to connect with Donovan.
Yeah, networking gives me hives. I can't even lie. It's the worst shit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know what to talk about. I don't like touching strangers like that. Like,
Yeah.
and if it's people I don't know, I don't know even how to trust it. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Right.
I don't know what they're gonna say that's gonna get me to table flipping mode very quickly. Because they're gonna say something,
I think there's a difference. Yeah, I think there's a difference between, and this is why I try not to use the word networking at all, because I think networking, as we know it, is actually like toxic networking, right? So people are trying to sometimes push themselves on people who they think are either the most important people in the room or the most important people for them to get to know. There's a lot of strategizing that I think comes from white supremacist patriarchal capitalism. And it can be uncomfortable instead of being like somewhat organic. You know what I'm saying? So I like spaces where it's like, hey, let's hang out, and maybe you'll meet somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody relax, no pressure. If you walk out and you didn't fucking meet anybody, you didn't waste your time. You came outside, you had a drink, you saw some beautiful black people, and that's it. But I really do feel like there's a pressure to toxically network that makes those events a lot of times feel really just uncomfortable, forced, and it's like, why are we doing this? Especially, and I'm speaking as a black person who usually goes to black shit. It's like, why are we doing this to each other? It's weird, you know? So
no, it's crazy, and I think what a lot of people might take for granted or might not know is that in Portland, it is not only as common to do just black shit, but absolutely necessary as black folks, because it's like, look, there but so many of us here. So if we're gonna do this right, faster alone, further together. Like we gotta be together to the extent that we can be, right? And even within that, you do find your tribes people of weirdos. I found mine so far. So yeah, it takes that. That's not networking. That is not networking.
Right.
That's the grossest. Well, it is so gross. I hate it. I just hate it. Like, I was about to buy business cards again, right? And then this happened, and I was like, "What am I gonna do with some business cards? I can't hand them to nobody.
Yeah.
Give them to who? Who gonna take it? That's disgusting now.
It's gross. Business cards are gross now. You're absolutely right.
Ugh. Where you kept it before you got here? Ugh.
Yeah.
Been in your pocket. It's all warm.
They were always gross. Like, they were always gross.
Muslims were right. I mean, Islam was right. That's all it come down to. It's like, nigga, wash your hands 5 times a day. For real. Yeah. Get to it. Get
Yeah.
to it. And also, your breath stank, and you're gonna know because you better be masked now. So now you know what we've been telling you. Now you know what we know. Now you know what we know.
Dude, so many people are learning that they have bad breath.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. It's a wake up call, and so silver linings.
Mm-hmm.
Silver linings. Um, so let's talk very quickly about how we do know each other, how we got to meet each other. I have a story in my head. I don't know if it's correct.
Okay,
So
we'll match stories.
I would love to hear yours and see if mine is anywhere near, or you want me to go first.
No, you please go first. You go first.
Okay. So from what I recall, Tina the Memer
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter
Yes.
had tagged us both in the meme
Okay.
for Denzel Washington is the best actor of all time, period.
Uh-huh. The greatest, yes.
The greatest actor of all time, period. Thank you. And
Uh-huh.
I remember we began actually directly speaking at that point, but I think I was able to let you know that I think I had maybe listened to one of your podcasts at that point, and I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, I heard you" or something like that.
okay.
Does that
I
sound
don't
right?
Yeah, it does sound right. I don't remember the podcast part. I remember we both were a part of that Denzel Washington is the greatest actor of all time, like fan club.
Yeah,
Shout out to Tina, the memer.
the memer.
Um, yeah, there it was I don't know why we were doing this. We were posting like our class photos, our like as children.
Oh, that's
And
right. That's right.
yeah, and you posted one and I was like, this is perfect. And I think that was our first interaction. And
Okay,
then I think we followed each other from then. And then
that's
I
right.
don't
And
know
then
what
I heard the
happened
podcast after
after
that. That's right.
that. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and once I heard the podcast, to both of y'all, shout out because there are two that I can think of, two podcasts that I've been able to follow with any kind of distance and regularity,
Hmm.
and each for very different reasons.
Hmm.
One is Jordan Jesse Go because I'm an idiot and I like to hear idiots sound like idiots and it makes me feel
Okay.
good inside.
Hmm.
And the other, of course, is Tea with Queen and Jay.
Hmm.
And it's been an honor for me to be able to support what y'all have been building and doing um, in my pedagogy, right? As I've done workshops, as I do lectures, when I teach, believing that using media for voice and platform is a viable way to reach people and build community.
Right.
Um, a lot of that for me, for regular people, you set a standard. Y'all set a standard for what is possible and what we're capable of. And
Hmm.
and I've tried to spread that word. How did y'all start? Because that's around that same time that we had first met. What actually
Yeah,
brought it together that this happened?
we started, it's been about 6.5 years ago that we started.
Mm-hmm.
So we met, we were already friends. We met, we used to work together. And Queen was working, she was doing online radio. She was doing kind of internet radio show with some other team members, and they weren't pulling their weight because they were men. And I, you know, what do they got to do anything for? You know what I'm saying? They just exist, whatever. So she was looking for a new partner, and at a certain point, I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it with you. That's cool, but I'm not gonna do internet radio. I'll do a podcast because at the time I wasn't listening to online radio. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
let me do something that I can relate to, a media that I at least engage in. And so I had been becoming a podcast junkie and like just getting into listening to podcasts and shit like that. And so when we started, it was really two homegirls like talking. So we talked about news, we talked about whatever like pop culture shit we wanted to talk about. And we realized that because we both grew up talking about race and these conversations weren't, I'm sure you have had experiences like this where you come across people like yourself or people who look like you, but there's a kind of, oh, you're always talking about race kind of thing, like that kind of person. I don't know that kind of person. Every now and then I come across that kind of person, but I grew up in this world where it was very common to acknowledge that race is a thing, to be talking about race and the dynamics of that and the power structure and shit like that, and how to use my voice in service of the goal of like dismantling, at minimum at that time, I would say white supremacy, because I don't think that I was raised to dismantle the patriarchy in any way. I just ended up using the tools that I was given to dismantle racism. I now also apply those tools to dismantling the patriarchy and other isms and things like that. So both Queen and myself grew up comfortably talking about race and shit like that. And so our podcast, that's the kind of shit that we talked about. That was the kind of shit that we did as homegirls anyway. So I don't know why we thought we was going to get on the mic and be talking about other stuff, because we are really womanist race nerds. That's who we are. That's what we do. So the podcast, after we accepted that, because there was a moment where it was like, all right, should we just try to not talk about race every single episode? And then we were like, no, this is who we are. This is what we was doing off the mic. It's not something that is, we didn't start doing it because we thought it was such a big draw. Like somebody asked me that question, like, oh, so why do you think that race and stuff is such a draw? It's not really a big draw in terms of content, unless you are already popular on some level, unless you are popular in whatever sense. Like you could be a degreed ass nigga that people know, or if you are a celebrity, a talking head, or whatever the fuck. And we were really just Queen and Jay, like two awesome people, but no one knew in terms of popularity. No one was familiar with us. Anyone who knew us at that time knew us because we did Tea with Queen and Jay. Queen was a writer and had done other things, and so had some notoriety from that, but not, I wouldn't say enough to be like, hey, I'm gonna go listen to, this person's podcast kind of thing. So that's how it started. That's how it evolved, and it turned into, because of who we are, it turned into not just the podcast, but this kind of community of, we do
the brigade. You're doing the whole thing now.
Yeah, it's at being Black women in this space. We saw a need, we saw a void for. We didn't feel comfortable. We didn't feel like we were welcomed as podcasters. Now everyone has a podcast, and that's great. But at the time, it was challenging to find other Black folks podcasting. We knew they were doing it, but it was challenging connecting with them. Barry of Podcasts in Color had started her podcast directory shortly after we started, so that was a good resource. But we did want to, as we entered the space and noticed the void, we wanted to create and build community in ways that we hadn't experienced. So we didn't feel community when we entered the space, and so we wanted to make sure we participated in building that. And so from that came Pod and Live NYC, which is our annual Black podcast meetup that we do. We throw an annual Juneteenth event. So it just became more than like just getting on and recording, which we love doing, and we'd be fine to do just that. But anything that we see, we're Black women, so anything we see, it's like, oh, this has to get done. We just kind of like would fucking do it, if it wasn't already being done.
Yeah, and do it right. I mean, y'all are building a community with a lot of recognition. You often talk about what the transition for you has been, right? As people recognize you in the street, as your voice is recognized in national dialogue around several important issues, several pop culture issues, which I find to be as important as anything else because it is our culture, right?
Yeah.
And right now, you are unable to, in the ways that over the last, I think at least 2 years, been around folks in ways that you're accustomed to, right? What has that transition been like in terms of not being publicly Jay, right? Like, so this happening certainly with the podcast, but in terms of like someone bumping into you in the street and being like, "Are you Janicia?" Like that thing ain't happening the way it used to. You know what I mean?
Right. I think that as I call myself like a loud introvert. So I think because I do enjoy being outside and I do feed off of like the energy of other people, I think, and I'm generally pretty nice when people approach me or whatever. I think that people assume that I am an extrovert. But when I come home after doing all of that, do you watch Better Call Saul at
I
all?
do. Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay, you know the brother who had the thing like after being outside he would come home and wrap
With
himself
the
in that.
foil. Hell
Yeah,
yes.
yes. So when
Hell
I would come
yes.
home, I just need to like kind of like wrap myself in foil or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck to kind of like decompress. I enjoy that energy, but it is very it's a lot. It's a lot for me. It's taxing. So I don't really know what the balance is, but I enjoy it, and then I need to like separate and like regroup and shit like that. So I think that is not happening anymore, kind of like communing with people. And it was really, really hard, not just on the,
Yeah.
hey, you're so-and-so from Tea with Queen and Jay, even though there's the reason, a part of why that is so important is because this is not a lucrative venture. Our podcast is not lucrative, right? So
Okay.
we get Patreon donations. We are able to sell ad space and generate other funds. But it hasn't been one where I could just do that for a living. You know what I mean? And so recognition from people because of what we do, saying, "Oh, I listen to your podcast. I love your podcast. I love it's because of the kind of work that we do. It's really not just, oh, I recognize you because you do this popular thing. It's like it's often people saying, I love what it is you're saying. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. I feel connected. I learned something I didn't know before. So it's really like it's a kind of affirmation that's bigger than, oh, I saw you here and I recognize your face kind of thing. It usually comes with, oh, I like what you said. Like that meant something to me.
Yeah.
And so that was very affirmative, and I really I did enjoy that kind of like energy, getting that energy from other people. I will say that being in quarantine, especially in some of June, it was already getting warm, but I was still not going outside. I really didn't go out until maybe late July, the beginning of August. But we did have to, like our Juneteenth event is usually a live party that we do in New York, that had to be pivoted to online. And I think it gave us the opportunity to connect with people like globally. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, it was mostly US, but we were able to connect with people globally. And it was a totally different event, but it was just its own unique, like super dope thing that I never imagined I would be able to do, or I just never had any reason to do that kind of thing before. And it just created and opened up a space and connectivity and an energy that none of us had experienced before. And it was just like super dope. So I think that while quarantine and coronavirus are like legit fucking horrible nightmares, I think having to pivot in the ways that we have been able to pivot to doing virtual shit and connecting with people more online. And I think the way that we have been creating content for our podcast is different. I'm honestly not even the same person that I was before quarantine. And I don't know, there are areas of that I think have been really positive, and some that, because we're not out of it yet, I don't, I'm sure there's been some negative change that I don't know yet. But it's been cool to be able to pivot and try new shit and build community in unexpected new ways, So it's a give and take.
Yeah, I mean, we're all having the ongoing PTSD, right? That we can't even recognize, I don't think, all of the ways that it's changed. But you were saying that you have noticed some. What are some of the ways that are changing for you right now?
So I am dating again, and I used to date in a very specific kind of way, especially I think being a New Yorker. There is just dating, anything aside, like being a New Yorker, being somebody who as a creative, just like always moving, thinking quickly, perhaps in some ways not giving attention to like any one thing. Like I really, one of my coping mechanisms has been distraction, healthy
Mm-hmm.
distraction, like making sure I just have a lot of different things going on to occupy my time so that I don't get so focused on one thing. It could be anything. So focused on one thing that I either obsess about it or get anxious about it or get depressed about it or whatever. So one of my coping mechanisms has been distraction. And it was really hard for me in quarantine to find distractions, because I was just in here with my fucking thoughts. So that was really challenging. And I think that as I reconnect with people, as I, or even communicating, there was a whole period in quarantine where I was a fucking vampire and sleeping throughout the day and being up at night, which I didn't mind that as much. The real downside was other people are not awake when you're awake. So that's kind of like, it's like, oh, I want to text so-and-so. They're asleep.
Right.
What are you doing? So I think some of the ways even that I communicate with people digitally, I feel like I'm not as gracious as I used to be. Like there's like an element of communication that I think because I was in here and I was quarantining alone, it was just me and my dog. It's like just certain cues of communication, certain like niceties kind of like have washed away a little bit, and I try and be mindful of that, but it's like I don't have the I don't know if it's energy or whatever it is that allowed me to be gracious or have certain kinds of tact in digital communication, because all my communication really became some version of digital or fucking virtual or whatever the fuck. And
so you just had like smoke for people, or what was going on?
I had a little bit of smoke, which was genuine and deserved smoke, or whatever. I had a little bit of smoke for people, and I just think that I didn't have, like, when you send somebody a cold text, there should be perhaps a little bit of a warm up, I feel, or I pride myself on being that kind of person. And I like the lube to do that, like warming people up or like giving somebody it's like a little bit washed away now. And I don't know what that's about, but anyway, so my communication style has changed a little bit. My the way that I value my time and the way that I value my relationships has changed, because even having virtual, Zoom dates or house parties with your friends or whatever, honestly, there's certain people who I may consider them friends in real life, but maybe we don't ever need to have a Zoom call, because that's actually kind of intimate. You know what I'm saying? Now you're like in my fucking house, and you know what? Actually, I don't like you that much. And so I think that friendships changed. I think I lost friends, which is not really uncommon for me in this work, because I think that my growth in the area of dismantling white supremacist patriarchal capitalism, it's not for everybody. And so that has been challenging, I think, for a lot of friends who I feel like I have made the effort to create space for, and they haven't made the effort to create space for my journey or whatever. So that, and then just like the distraction, it's like now if I'm spending time with you, I'm like spending time with you. And that is a little bit scary and like a little bit good. I don't know. I'm not a person who's afraid of like, I don't mind that I'm consumed with my cell phone. There's people in there. You're in there. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate connecting with people virtually. I don't think that they are pretend relationships. I love the fucking internet, And so I think that I am just, I think, a little bit more centered now. I think I'm a little bit more connected. I'm a little bit more to the point. Like there, again, with the communication, like over text, I don't even communicate the same as I used to. I'm just different. And I think I'm not as edgy. I think I used to be a bit of an edgy date, which I'm okay with, because I think there should be some level of like buffer. But yeah, and now you can't risk, like, there are people that we've all been on dates with people who we knew we shouldn't have gone on that date to begin with. We knew it before we left the house, but you're like, oh, you know what? This will be fun. It's Friday. I got time, whatever. I don't got to work tomorrow. Let's hang out.
Just this once.
And now I have to consider oh, well, do I want to hang out with this person who might fucking give me COVID?
Yeah, you gonna risk
And
it all? You gonna risk it all?
yeah, for
Is it
just
worth it
for
to
a
that?
Friday?
For a little bit of ass on a Friday? Gonna risk it
Exactly,
all?
exactly. Not at all, not at all. So, yeah, it just changes so many different little dynamics, and I do think being in isolation, as we already know, like there are populations of people who are isolated, those within the prison system who are isolated.
Listen, listen.
Yeah, not to compare myself to that, of course, I have my freedom, but being a Black woman, single person who was living in my house by myself, that has changed the way that I communicate with people and the
Yeah.
way I interact. And like, I don't think that I will ever be the same person, you know?
Yeah, I don't think anything about this world about to be the same again. Straight
Hmm.
up. I don't think anything about this world about to be the same again. I mean, all of the ways, the nuances of communication are you just got to handle what I got at this point. I don't know what to say. Right? I'm trying, but it is what it is. I had, at the suggestion of my therapist some time ago, 8 9 months ago, well, more than that, maybe 8 9 months ago, tried to internet date, and
Okay.
because men are trash, I was very careful about how I do it. So I went to Bumble.
Okay. Good.
I lasted a day, and I was like, "This is I'm not."
What was the problem?
Ooh,
What was the
Well,
problem?
okay, so all right, it ain't nobody but you and me here. We just friends.
Which is
So while I have found a community here for
okay.
myself, and within it there are black folk and brown folk, on the local Bumbles,
Uh-huh.
there were not brown and black folk. And hey, Hennessy.
She's a little anxious because it's thundering out here, so she's
Oh,
having a little bit of a moment, but
how
she'll be
y'all?
okay.
How are y'all doing with the weather? How y'all doing?
It's been okay. It's
Has
been
it?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's thunderstorming now. I think it's supposed to do that for the rest of the night, but I
Uh,
went out earlier and it was all right.
okay. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, I had tried. Here's the thing: is that when one, I don't date out loud people who are not brown and black. I cannot.
Yeah.
It is a difficulty for me.
Mhm.
Not that I grew up in a city that in which I certainly have tried. I gave it the college effort more than once, and it's not. I
Yeah.
can't. There are certain cultural barriers that I just can't get through. That's
Mhm.
all it really comes down to, and also
Right.
the voices of my parents in my head sounding like the Jeffersons, and so the two things make it an impossibility. And on Bumble,
Okay.
ain't nobody else there. And
What if
then, hmm,
No, I was gonna say I know Queen is on or was on Hinge,
oh, was
and
it?
she said you're able to filter and select who you're looking for. So maybe you can try Hinge and select black and brown folks.
Oh, I'm good right now. I actually was
Oh,
fortunate
okay.
to meet somebody, and so my partner and I
Oh,
are in deep
God.
communication. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, Tracy
Tell it.
Minovieks is the producer. I'm sure is watching right now.
Oh, hi, Tracy.
Hey,
That's
boo.
cool. Okay, so then how did
Yeah.
that happen? Are you comfortable sharing that story?
Yeah. That happened via Instagram.
Oh, the internet. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
once again the internet's right.
Lovely.
And through the grams we started chatting loosely. I had realized some time ago that there was not a way that I was going to be able to date locally, and the proof in the pudding was my experience on Bumble.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, "All right, well, it is what it is. Let's see what happens."
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been going on
Oh,
9 months since that. So
oh,
yeah,
okay. Look
yeah,
at that.
yeah. In
That's
fact,
awesome.
this conversation may be a bit of our public coming out party.
That's
Second,
cool. That's
second public
exciting.
coming out party. Our first date was a very long date. It was a good one. It was nice.
Good. I love
Yeah,
a long date. I love. That's the other thing with COVID. It's like if I leave the house, like we're outside.
you
I'm
doing
outside.
something?
Outside. We're
Yeah,
fucking hanging out for
we
hours.
walking. We
Okay.
walking.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
So yeah. No, that's awesome.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Good. No, I'm glad to know that you are out and dating and not trapped in your hubble.
Yeah. It's been good, and we've been going on like adventures because I'm outside. So let's go on a fucking adventure. So it's been cool and
Nice.
going on adventures to like outside. Like the point is to be outside and be able to stay away from people. So
Yeah.
it's been cool. I've been doing things that I would never do by myself, and I'm a person who does mad shit by myself. Like I've been cool with that forever. I look forward to doing things alone, but like getting on a boat to go to a park, that's not something that I would sign up to do. But in New
Mm-mm.
York during COVID, it is nice to actually get on a boat,
All
be
right.
away from motherfuckers, and go sit in the fucking park. So
Okay.
it's been nice to be hanging out with somebody who wants to do shit outside and like spend some time. So it's
That's
been
dope.
really cool. Yeah.
Good. That's hella dope. That's hella dope. So the other thing that you used to do that I promised I was going to brag on, and I know that you're about, is that blurred life.
A little
Uh,
bit.
you know what I'm saying? There are few and far between, but every once in a while, especially since I now rock transitions, people recognize the glasses I have on. They're like, yeah, yeah. No, I see you, you fucking nerd. I see you. I'm
I
like,
love transitions. I got a pair, I had a pair and I was like, these don't need to be transitions. And I've regretted every second of it. All of your glasses should be transitions.
every
Like, what's the point?
shades of transitions, one of the two. That I
Yes,
see no point in anything else, quite frankly.
I'm pro transition,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. So, you are a cosplayer of Summer Now.
Yes.
I'm a share right now on screen is your Hellboy costume.
That's a favorite. That's a favorite. I
I
had
love
to.
this
So,
one.
one of the things with this Hellboy thing
Yeah.
is when you, a thing for cosplayers is when you quote unquote cross gender a cosplay,
Mm-hmm.
people will like decide that you are now hell girl or that
Mm.
you are now like they will decide if you present as a gender other than the gender of the character you're cosplaying, they will decide to like change the name of that character. So I was called Hell Girl several times and had to correct a lot of people. And I know some people are cool. I'm sure there are people who have done that and have been comfortable with being called Hell Girl. And I'm like, that's not what I was doing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, the deep breath is about the assumption, though. Do you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
assumption, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
okay, so there's another thing that we do share, and so we'll come back to the costume and what that's
Mm-hmm.
all about. So
Okay.
you helped me in the struggle that you had in
Mm-hmm.
the refusal to be referred to as a lady,
Right.
and in the conversation that we had. That I will now admit I was part of those conversations. I will now say it out loud that I was part of the conversations, and thank you for never putting me on blast when it was happening and
Okay.
y'all was doing the pronoun stuff at the beginning of the
Mhm.
shows.
Okay.
That watching your growth through that helped me to find my growth in order
Mm-hmm.
to let go of masculine labels that did not feel that they applied to me. And
Right.
so, what are your pronouns? And I should have asked this at the top. I'm gonna start
No,
asking
that's
everybody who show up here. What are your
I could
pronouns?
know each other because we are actual internet friends.
I know, right?
But yeah. So my pronouns are she, her, they, them. And also separate from my pronouns, I am not a lady, and
Right.
that's been really important to me. People don't usually say lady. I know some people who will say it like casually, kind of like "Hey, lady" or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like a casual thing. But what ends up being most challenging is people like to refer to like a group of ladies. Like "Hey, ladies" is like a really common
Mm-hmm.
thing,
Mm-hmm.
or like "What do the ladies think" or whatever. So that's been a bit of a challenging thing. And for me, it's really the journey to like for all of us to use less gendered language, because you really don't know what anybody's pronouns are, what anybody is really, up to. So yeah, so my pronouns are she, her, they, them. And what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are fully they, them now.
Oh,
I do accept begrudgingly he, and I do so because I am also very aware of the distinctions between the voice that I hear in my head, the way that I often look and feel, and then when I
okay,
look and see myself, and or especially in playback, I see myself.
okay,
And so I know I have a real baritone voice. I'm aware,
okay.
even when I feel like it's not that. I am aware that I am one with much facial hair, and
Okay.
for a lot of people that reads a certain way. So for folks who aren't really my folks, I will not necessarily jump down somebody's throat.
Right.
But once I've laid it out, then I'm like, okay, listen, we've
right.
talked about this a couple times. Let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Hmm, hmm.
But I've also moved to a thing of like just referring to everybody as they.
Yeah.
Um, and if somebody's mind is so weak that they're still attached to a binary and they need to be a
Hmm.
boy or a girl, you let me know, sweet pea. No.
Well, the thing is with that, I know that there are trans folks who it's important that they are not referred to as they them. Like,
Mm,
um, I know that there are some trans folks who, depending on where they're at in their transition or how they're feeling or what they're comfortable with, there are people who are not comfortable with they them. So I
yeah,
also am one to typically use they them for as many people as possible, but I do try to be aware that there are trans folks who really like it's their pronouns are very important. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
So yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
And that rule, let's just be absolutely clear, applies to cis people. That's for cis
Mhm.
people. You are
Right.
they. You are
Yes.
they.
Yes.
They.
Right.
And not in the nice way, like a derogatory they.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better. It cleans my teeth.
I
So
get it.
these people were trying to gender you while you was busy being Hellboy. I'm gonna bring it up again for the people. So you was busy being Hellboy, getting gendered. What are those conversations for a blurred in this community, right? Because I know how nerds are.
Yeah.
I get assaulted walking into a comic book just looking what I look like because I'm not gross enough to.
Yeah.
We're like, why are you here, motherfucker?
You've got lotion. You've got shea butter. You've
Yeah,
got,
why y'all
your what?
moisturized, nails did,
Right.
got
Right.
water in your
Right.
hand? What's going on?
Uh-huh.
Why are
Yeah,
you
I feel you.
here?
I think that for me, I've been very intentional. So I like just growing up, like me and my siblings liked the stuff that we like. So I didn't really need to find nerd safe spaces as a kid in the Bronx because I had siblings. We all liked everything that we liked. We were all like big ass teenagers watching cartoons, so we had our own space in that way, and it was not strange for quote unquote cool black people like us to like what we liked. I mean, we
Yeah.
we had other friends who liked what we liked too. Like that wasn't such an anomaly for us. But I will say that as an adult, like as an earlier adult, it was harder connecting with people on my nerddoms, on my fandoms. And
Hmm.
so when I discovered the term blurred, when I discovered that there was like a level of safety in that for me, I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I had to find I didn't feel like I had to find space amongst because I do remember even though I had my siblings, there were certain nerddoms, fandoms that were considered like for boys and like why do you like this and like they wouldn't
Like
want
which
to.
ones? What were the ones you were supposed to think he was supposed to be fucking with?
I guess maybe any of them. I guess maybe any of them as a kid or as a teen. And so I didn't really feel safe fucking with boys on any of that stuff. I just didn't like. I just
Hmm.
like was like whatever. So yeah. So anyway, as an adult, a younger adult, understanding and learning of blurs, that there were these people who were like black and nerds and comfortable talking about that shit. I thought that was like, oh, this is great. That's like an extra layer of oppression removed from this thing that I'm engaging in because of oppression anyway, right? So we already deal with mad oppression. I just want to watch cartoons and talk about this shit that really don't matter and be ridiculous and wear a Ninja Turtle book bag, and like that's just kind of what I'm trying to do. So I think that there was some safety in that blurred shit, and then the gender shit still was a big problem, and I think because of being able to navigate the blurred space, within that space, I was able to find communities of people who were not on that bullshit. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that has been really a blessing and like helpful to me as an adult who wants to still enjoy my fandoms, my nerddoms, finding space amongst folks who are not anti my existence in the space has been cool. So that other side of it, I know it exists. I know people wrestle with it. I know I don't play with them because I don't have to. So
yeah. So where do you be playing that then? So
where
right, because and I'm saying, I want to say it in a way to and acknowledge that there are people watching right now who probably have no fucking idea what either one of us is talking about. So at a costume convention.
Yes. So
at a con. What are the cons you playing with? Where are you playing? Who are the kids you playing with?
Yes. So I would, when the world was open, in New York, there was a Black Comic Book Festival in New York that took place at the Schomburg Library in Harlem. So that was a big one that I would go to. New York Comic Con, and I would just go to like all the black shit that was happening. For All Nerds podcast, back when they were Fan Bros, whenever they did an event, I would try and find myself at one of their events. Women in Comics Con did a local con. The other piece of this, I'm rattling off all these cons, but like whatever city you live in, there is a local con. There is a local con where they're selling comic books and shit like that. Now that well, niggas been doing it for themselves for a long time, but you can also possibly find a black con in your area, you know? And so I usually just I love a local con, and then I will go to New York Comic Con as well and go to like all the black shit, all the quote unquote diverse shit or whatever, and find my spaces that way, all the queer shit, find my spaces that way. And go to meetups. Find spaces online that are specifically in tune with not just my nerd shit, but also my womanist race nerd politic. You know what I'm saying? So there are nerd spaces online where you can be anti-white supremacist patriarchal capitalist and still enjoy fucking whatever kind of nerddom you enjoy. Comics, anime, movies. I'm a movie ass bitch. So like whatever your shit is, you can find a space for you and for that on the internet.
What you watching right now? What are you excited for more? I'm interested. Are you interested in any of the DC or Marvel shit that's coming, or are you just off that now? I'm not judging. I mean,
really excited about Wonder Woman.
Are you?
No, I know. I am really excited about Wonder Woman. Yeah, even though I know that Gal Gadot is a Zionist from what I understand.
Which is the worst. Yeah, no, she's a fucking pig. It ruins things. But so is you know who else though is Scarlett Johansson, a fucking Zionist fucking pig too. Okay. But I'm gonna see that Black Widow movie. It's disgusting, but I'm gonna see that Black Widow movie.
Hey, as long as we mention it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's not a pig? But definitely worth the mention of that. But I'm looking forward to it, but I am kind of like, I enjoyed going to the movies. I enjoyed sitting in a theater. I enjoyed eating popcorn. As someone who also likes distractions, it was one of the only places where I'm sitting, this is what I'm doing. I'm not really in my phone. I'm watching a movie. When I watch things at home, I am, I'm watching it and then I'm texting and I'm like, oh my God, I got to tweet about this. It's too much. So I am excited about that and looking forward to seeing it in a theater in 2023 or whenever. I am always interested in Batman. I will watch all of them,
I'm
whether I'm
trying to see
excited
that new
or not.
Batman look dope. I don't give a shit what nobody say. That shit look
Yeah.
dope.
I will do Batman every time.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna watch it. He is definitely an arm of white supremacy, and he
The
could
worst.
just kind of help, maybe he could help, but that's not Batman's jam.
I
But
saw somebody.
definitely
I saw
watch.
somebody give this bullshit ass argument that that is Batman's jam though. They was talking about, and they got into it deep in ways that I don't know, but it was one of these white boy fucking nerd arguments about like,
Mhm.
well, if you look at it, he gave this much money to build this railroad and this, that,
No,
and the third.
no, no. Every
Break it down.
night he leaves his fucking mansion and he goes and he beats up poor people. He beats up the poor. He beats up the fucking mentally ill. What the fuck is going on at Arkham? That will always be my question, okay? Why can't he fucking help initiate and put into place proper mental health professionals who can manage that facility, who can have it so that if there needs to be a wing for people who have murdered people and people who are just having mental health challenges, like there's so much that he can do. He's got the fucking money to do it. And every night for his exercise, he just leaves and beats up the poor people and the mentally challenged, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, say
It's
what.
ridiculous.
And to your point, right? Arkham is where both, I believe, Clayface and fucking Mister Freeze were created.
Mm. What's going on at Arkham, and why can't he get to the bottom of it?
All
Because
bad.
really, that's the
World's
piece. He
greatest
got all
detective,
the
nigga.
technology in there,
World's
huh?
greatest detective ass nigga. You supposed to be getting to the
Thank you.
bottom of it.
Thank you. You got all that knowledge, all the resources, all
Yeah.
that technology in the fucking cave, and you can't crack this case?
See,
You can't figure out who's up to no good at Arkham?
See.
You can't unseat the powerful when your family is a family of power, you bum? Anyway, I can't wait for the next Batman.
it's
So
gonna be
I'll
so
be there
dope.
watching.
It's gonna be so
It's gonna
dope.
be good. Yeah.
Also, just one last thing on that. Like, why he got to be the only motherfucking superhero whose dick we ever had to see in a goddamn comic book? Why was that necessary? Why was that
Oh,
necessary?
missed that. What issue was
Oh
that?
yeah, no, there was a secret issue, like a secret adult issue of Batman, where they were just out of nowhere. They was like, "Oh, it's a grown Batman," and it's like, "Oh, okay, what's this about to be?" And you flipping through the pages, and it's just Batman naked up in the pages. Like, all
Oh,
right, well, Batman is blessed, but I don't know why.
thing. Good
What this has to
question.
do with anything? It kind of falls in line with the white supremacist patriarchal capitalisms.
It does. It does.
Grossness. But I am gonna see that shit. I am gonna see that shit. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see Robert E. Bat. That's gonna be some shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I like that I am a what were those vampire movies? I was a fan of all of them. That he was.
Were you
I was
the Edward and the werewolf something?
I was
Light
team
light
whatever the
light
werewolf
teen.
was.
Okay, all right.
Twilight. That's what it was.
There it
Yes,
is. Yeah.
I was team Brown Werewolf. That was my team. But I definitely did enjoy all those films. I will never lie about that. And yeah, I like him. I look forward to seeing him as the Bat. I
Yeah.
mean,
He's
Batman
a
is
good ass actor.
ridiculous.
And Batman
Oh
is
yeah,
ridiculous. Even that
yeah.
opening
So
scene be trying to look all scary. It looked like Seven right up until Batman walks into it. It's like, nigga, what is this?
it's ridiculous, and DC goes over the top with like we're dark. It's relax. I like ridiculous shit, and that's why I'm with the shits. But
Yeah.
like, you guys are ridiculous. Okay, it's
It's a
ridiculous.
lot. It's a
But so
lot.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, in
Okay.
2023 when the world opens, I want to go to the theater. I want to watch those things. I am watching Lovecraft Country on HBO. I'm watching that.
Okay, I haven't started yet.
Um,
I got to get
you
into
haven't?
it.
Okay, so that's been pretty good. That's been interesting. I'm enjoying that. I watched. Did you watch 20s? That was on
Mm-mm.
BET.com, and now it's on Showtime. So 20s is a
Okay.
series produced by Lena Waithe, and I want to say it is either loosely or not loosely based on her.
Niggas writing
I
shit down.
Yeah, I enjoyed that thoroughly. So it's really
Okay.
just this young lesbian black writer in Hollywood just dealing with everyday shit. It's a comedy, I would say. Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
comedy. It's super cute. It's very rare that I feel like I've gotten to watch young black girls like in a show. Just be funny, be weird, be whatever the fuck, you know? So I liked 20s a lot. We talked about this one on the podcast. I liked, this is shit that I already watched, like, in Quarantino, but I liked, what was that one with the girls on the skates? I love that one. It was about these Betty on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is also coming of age, and I think these were more like teenagers. They're really just in New York riding skateboards. There are no major traumas. There's like maybe an incident or two, but nothing. At no point. That's the other piece of what I'm really enjoying about entertainment right now is like watching shit as a black person with black characters or characters of color that are interesting, well written. There is conflict and shit like that, but at no point is my trauma being fucking exploited. You know what I'm saying? My trauma as a black person, as a different kind of person, at no point is that shit being exploited. So that is what I really enjoy, just watching shit where we can be whatever fucking color we are, and it just, except for white people, but watching like black and brown folks like just chill, have a good time, have a bad day, whatever, and it not be about all these traumas. You know what I'm saying? So, so Betty was super cute and really about nothing except for girls skateboarding. So that was really cute. What else? I'm trying to get into Steven Universe, but
I tried to get into Steven Universe.
I feel like, and I need for the Steven Universe heads to let me know. You know how like you had to watch a certain number of episodes to really get into Game of Thrones, I need to know. Okay, when will this start to feel like a good time?
Yeah, because it's not after 4.
Right, it's not. It's not. It's cute, but it's not like, oh, I need to go back to like watching Steven Universe. I don't know. Maybe Maybe my apartment is not equipped. Maybe I'm not comfortable enough when I'm watching. I don't. Maybe I'm not high enough.
I don't know. I was high. I was with my preteen. I was high. I got a big ass quarantine TV. Like it should have worked.
Right. It didn't take. I watched it one time years ago. I watched a few episodes with my niece, who I want to say was closer to 8, and I felt good that we could watch this thing with, you know, fucking gems and different colored characters. That felt good, and maybe if I lived with that child, maybe then I could finish the series. I need to know how many episodes I got to get into to be like fully invested. You know,
I need to know. I did get sucked into.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I got sucked into the BoJack Horseman universe.
Oh my God, yes.
Whoo!
Did you? Yes.
I wasn't ready, Hunty. I was like, oh, this is cute. And for like 2 seasons, I was like, this is funny. This is silly. They say silly words. No. I like it. I like Amy Sedaris. She's stupid.
Yes.
I was not ready for the finale 2 episodes at all. That whole last 2 seasons, I was like, wait. What are we doing?
I knew it from the door.
Did you?
Door. I was like, ooh, this smells like depression. Yes.
Oh, but yeah, no, I mean, you know.
This smells like, ooh, depression, self-loathing, tragedy. Yes.
My therapist and I were talking about it too. She was like, oh yeah, that's how you're going to sleep. I was like, yeah, that's how I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I put it on. It soothes me. I'm like, oh, his parents are abusive.
Relatable content. Oh,
yeah.
Delicious.
Oh, I feel it. Oh, love me. Stop looking at me.
Yes. My ex-partner, when we were together, he was like, oh, it's a new season of BoJack. You want to watch it together? I'm like, I watch BoJack alone.
That's Dolo shows. That's Dolo shows.
This is not a community event. You don't know my life? No. This is a...
You don't know me like that. You don't know me like that.
You don't know me to be all up in my BoJack like that. We don't do that.
Nah, that was the swag.
That I really enjoyed.
I went back. I saw the BoJack Christmas special, and it was soothing again. So it took a little of the sting off, and no spoilers. But I just did not know. I didn't know what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing.
It masks a lot of that, and there's so much humor to like get you through and keep you going.
Yes.
That you don't realize, you're like, yo, this shit is intense.
Woo! Yeah, no, I wasn't ready, but I am glad it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I am getting some advice. We are hearing that it is around episode 10, that
Okay. All right.
the lock-in
Okay.
happens. So I
I
guess,
just, I just needed to know because I do always get to around episode 4 and I'm like, all right, guys, like
right.
what I connect to this because a part of why I love Steven Universe is because I'm a cosplayer and just
Okay.
going to events and seeing so
Yeah.
many like black and brown folks dressed up as Steven, dressed up as the fucking gems, like all of that, that's my shit. So I have a love for it in
Yeah.
that sense, but I really couldn't get past the same episodes. But okay, I could do 10 episodes.
I'm
I
gonna
love procrastinating. I could do it.
10. I can get back in. 10. I can get back in. So thank you,
Mhm.
Tracy. Thank you to the folks who let us know that.
Yes, yeah.
Cause I wasn't ready. I didn't know.
Mhm.
Okay, last thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. Is and only if you had seen it and had any reactions, because I had asked you last night. You was like, oh, and I felt the same way because I found out what the fucks was going on in the country, but only
Mhm.
after I had gotten done broadcasting and like an hour later. So I had no
Mhm.
idea. I was
Right.
working, I was doing shit, I was creating, and then I come off and it's like, hey, guess what? All of black athleticism was like, nah, fuck your game, nigga. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? What?
Woo. Delicious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what was going on? How you feeling? What was going on with it for you?
So I'm sorry, Hennessy is still here. So I caught up with it a little bit, and I liked what I was seeing. I really do like the way that black athletes are using their voice and using their power in ways that we hadn't seen it before. Yes, we have had athletes in years past take a stand and do shit, but I feel like the way that we're seeing it happen in this collective way, in this like overt kind of way, in this like motherfuckers like just leveraging their millions to do shit, like
Mm.
I just love to see it. And the fucking WNBA, who doesn't make millions, just out here getting it done, just
Listen,
like
getting it
just doing
done though.
it fucking done. Yeah,
The
yeah.
distinction between
So
those two walkouts and protests, though,
mhm, mhm.
them dudes was
Different.
sloppy and ashy. They were. Come on, Jay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or I knew, so I don't know where the NBA landed. I knew that yesterday they had a few of them decided they were not going to play. They boycotted games. There's a few teams, and I think today they regrouped and they decided that they were gonna play. Like
They're they're they're
I don't
they're
know
in
what's going on.
negotiations still. They're on some maybes. They're on some
Okay.
maybes, and there are two camps of commentators, and the black ones feel like this might be a wrap, niggas. It might be done for the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
So there were a few more very explicit demands that folks were making, in specific around ensuring that all of the arenas become safe havens for voting.
Mm.
So like really looking at explicit
Oh,
ways to be
yeah.
able to leverage power. So
Right. Right. Right.
I don't know, but I mean the distinction. I mean, the fact that like one team was out on the court waiting for the for the squad, right? And it was just the Timberwolves was like,
That's the kind of drama I like.
nah. I liked it when the sisters
Yeah.
came out because they
I
had
love it.
costumes and shit. They was like, fuck it, we ready, we ready. It was
I
dressed.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
it hit me. It hit me
No, I
deep.
enjoy. I like Naomi Osaka's statement. I like that a lot. I like that. Like I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like growing up, and it's possible that's because of the we didn't have social media in the same ways, but like I just feel like growing up, I didn't see athletes talking so much about being black and like the
Yeah.
experience and their connectivity to everyday working or not working black folks. Like I just felt like there was it seemed to me growing up that there was a larger separation between us than there is now, and it feels like they are um, the powerful ones that matter, quote unquote, or whatever, are actually like trying to do something. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That even though they're not fucking activists, a lot of them, so they don't always say the smartest things. They don't always make the best decisions. A lot of them are multimillionaires, which depending on how you think of it, can be quite problematic. So I
Can be.
like that. Yeah, I like that niggas are thinking and doing something,
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
No, it's been
That's
wild.
I
It broke me
definitely
down.
followed several WNBA accounts. I was like, I've been missing this. I'm not a big sports person. I love drama, so I'll
Yeah.
watch a sports documentary. I love a good drama, but I'm like, the WNBA, everyone, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagrams,
They're doing
they're
it
on.
big. They've been doing it big. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fucking adorable, they're talented, they're smart, they're, active. So follow them
Yeah.
everywhere you can.
Yeah, big shout outs, and I did write down two names because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget some shit. So big shout outs in particular to Tiana Hawkins, who was the player who was out there on the court with her child,
Oh,
and had him kneeling next to her. They were all out there together as a family. And shout out as well to Elizabeth Williams of the Atlanta Dream, who was the spokesperson who read
oh,
the statement and did so in a way that my ears understood all of the words. Again,
mm-hmm.
it was better than what the boys did. It just was.
Ooh,
I
ooh. So
said it.
I missed what the NBA was doing.
It
What
was
were they doing? I read
fine.
the tweet, but what were they doing?
It was fine. Okay, so first of all, I want to say a couple of things about what they did because shout out, shout out. It was the domino. It fell everything, and now there's no tennis. There ain't no hockey, so white people is upset as shit, which makes me so happy because do whatever you can to sop up all the white joy and just toss that biscuit
Right.
out the window. So there's all that. The baseball disappeared, all of it, right? So that's all gone because of what the Timberwolves did. So what they did is decide they just weren't going to play. They had it. Okay, somebody had gone in the locker room. They was like, "That's it. I can't take
Mm-hmm.
this shit. This is some bullshit. I'm done. Go get them. Tell them we ain't doing it. Let's talk about it." The two teams came off. They then talked about what they were gonna do. They canceled that game. They then brought in the negotiators from the league to talk about the rest of that night. So then all six games for the night, all three games, all six teams were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
The women had, as soon as the men did it, the women were like, "A word, boom!" And they was at the t-shirt factory. They was like bedazzling shit, like, we gonna protest.
Yes,
They
yes,
was ready.
yes.
They was ready. So
Oh,
these dudes are sitting there figuring out, okay, what this gonna mean? Who's gonna lose power? Who gets paid? Like, dude
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then there was a whole hissy fit situation because LeBronte wanted to be the one to be in front to say the shit, which makes
Oh,
sense. They've been negotiating it. It was him and Chris Paul, so they were supposed to be the ones. But when these young ones did, they put a Joe Biden on these motherfuckers. They was just like gay shit, and like they just came with it. The way Biden snuck in all the gay agenda under Obama's nose, just like
got it.
fuck your schedule. We out.
Okay, okay, okay.
And so that was all the drama. That's why it took them so long. And fuck it. I mean, it was spontaneous. It was from the gut. It was real, right? It needed to happen, and it's what
Okay, yeah.
allowed
Oh,
everything
then you
else
were
to happen.
got it. Okay.
So it's what needed to
I
happen. It
love it.
allowed everything else to happen. I love it and I live for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done as young men in the absence of the influence of women, femmes, or other folks who are open to expressing who they are might do.
Right.
So it was
Mm-hmm.
fine. I mean, it's a statement that was kind of clumsily read, stumbled through, you know,
Yeah.
But then Kenny came with the shit and kind of like, it was like, oh shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was cool. It was cool. But, I just want to make sure that like for myself, for the folks around me, that they don't forget that like the women in the league have been on this shit. This ain't new for them.
Yeah, yeah,
This ain't
yeah.
new for them.
and Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips was saying, if this is what the men are doing, the women are probably about to burn the arena to the ground
I'm
because
telling
yeah,
you.
they come with it. They come direct. So
Yeah, they've been coming with it. They've been coming with it. And they don't make shit. They don't make shit.
yeah.
They make teacher salary. These motherfuckers are risking something. They're doing a
Mm-hmm.
different thing. They're doing a different thing. So it's beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you here.
This was so fun.
This
Thank
is
you,
fun.
Carlos.
Thank
This was
you.
great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. While we are here, shout out to our viewer, our listener, my friend Kelly, who, after I opened up the invitations to, hey,
Mm-hmm.
tell me who should be here, was the one who said, hey, get Jay on the show.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful. Thanks,
yeah.
Kelly.
So shout out to you, Kelly. Thank you so much for making that happen. And with that, I will thank you so much one more time for joining us under the tree. One more time, family. Shout out for Janicia.
Oh, should I tell them where they can find me,
Oh,
or do
yes.
you
Tell them
give
all the
that?
shits. Tell them all the shits now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, Tea with Queen and Jay podcast. You can find us on wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We are there. You can find us there. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Tea with QJ, and you can find us on our website, teawithqueenandjay.com. And you can find me if you want to find me at Janicia F everywhere.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, Janicia.
Thank you. Thanks, Carlos.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
And I will
having
not.
me.
I've been told twice now not to refer to my internet people as pretend people, and so I'm off that shit. Thank you. I'm off that shit. I'm off that shit.
Go.
All right, and we are also putting up the Patreon, so that is up there as well. Folks, look for Jay, look for T with Queen and Jay, and one more time, give it up for Janicia Francis. Yes, family.
Yay.
That was some shit. That was beautiful. I love it.
We're on. We're off.
Oh, we're on. You talking and just off the screen. You off, I'm on. This that part I told you about. I told you was gonna forget. Everybody forgets this part. I love it. I love it.
I'm here. Go ahead. Do you?
Yeah, no, hang. No, you do. You know, be here. Be part of it. It's all good. This, of course, has been a treat. Family, if there are other folks that you'd like to see us in conversation with under the tree, let us know. Shout it out. Oh, Trinice, thank you, because I do know that was you who was the one who shouted out that it takes 10 episodes to get in. So shout out to you. Thank you so very much. And this has been yet another episode of Smoke and Mirrors. If there is somebody who you think should be here, or you have a question or a comment, or you'd like to send this to your racist ass uncle and just let them hate watch it and then go ahead and comment to me because you don't want to deal with it, go ahead and do that. And the way to do that is to write to us at Smoke and Mirrors ccb at gmail. That CCB is for comedy, culture, and bullshit. If you'd like to see some of the past guests or pictures of the shows that have been going on or guests who are going to be coming on, look at us at IG at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. If you want to see the words but you don't want to hear the voice, Twitter at Caballo Negrito. Please do me a favor. Would you please just share this under here? We call that passing the J. Post it on your page. Share it with a friend. You got a niece, you got a nephew, you got a non-gendered younger nibbling who needs to hear what we got to say. Do us a favor. Share it to them. Go ahead. That's how we get it out there. If you would like to be a part of this experience and you are not interested in making a very deep commitment to it, but you got 5 on it, you could do that 3 ways. That's Venmo, Carlos Dash Wyndham. You could do that at Cash App, $CK Wyndham. You could do that at PayPal /CK Wyndham. This is produced and hosted by myself. That was almost a word. This is produced and by Tracy Tatamy. I'm saying words. Hey, you can be a patron if you wanna, as have Ruthie, Amber, Aaron, Seth, Lisa, Kristen, Renee, Michael, Natalie, Juliet, Tarika, and Tracy. We have a few more slots to be one of the first 20, and if you are one of the first 20, then you will hold a Carlos Kareem Wyndham trading card, a thing that can only be held if, in fact, you are a patron or an actual guest on the show, you see it being held there by our patron and our friend Kristen, who took a bullet to the face for freedom and against white supremacy. That scar has Harry Potter magic to it now. Okay, listen, that's about all we got. I love you. Would you please do me a favor? Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Stay the fuck inside. Wash your hands at least 5 times a day. And if you're going to go outside, for God's sake, wear a mask. Okay, that's it. I love you. Bye.